continue with our questions. Please, we're going to respect you, and you respect us. Senator Alma Francis Heyliger, you may proceed with your 10 minutes.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, good morning. Well, first, I would like to thank our Senate President for saving some of my 10 minutes by dealing with Mr. Anthony, because I made sure I highlighted it, because I was coming for you. Understand that. Because I don't understand how someone who came before this body feels he has the right to tell us what to say and do, because I was taking it as a threat, to be honest with you. I didn't like it. But hopefully your days are numbered on that WAPA board. So let's move on. You know, as I sit here and I listen to these accusations of aspersions and alleged rumors, this morning we had hundreds upon hundreds of pages being sent into this institution to the members of this body. Audit of wire transfer, hundreds of pages. Audit of inappropriate activities of line superintendent, hundreds of pages. I could go on and on. So whatever these accusations of rumors that you're claiming we're spreading, please don't send us the documentation to back them up. Thank you. I could go down a list. From as far back as I went to go dig up and look for information, investigative report done by our Inspector General's office as far back as 2005, where the board had a whole issue with the executive director purchasing a property for millions of dollars that nobody could figure out who authorized him to do it in the first place. We could go down the list. ABC Concepts. What happened to what's going on with this situation with the wire transfer? Please do not come in this body trying to check this institution. I don't appreciate it. Okay, Mr. John Jedhope, I would like to speak to you for a moment, please. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Good, good. I want to ask you a question. I know you put out a letter originally that now you're stating that the attorney is claiming you should not have anything to say about. What I would like to know quickly is where exactly this audit that you referenced in that letter, where exactly did that come from, and how did it get into your possession?
Should I answer this? Yes. So this was an internal audit document that I received last week. We discussed the contents of it several times, but I finally was forwarded the document last week.
Okay. I know based on what you're saying, you can touch on some of the information, so I'm going to respect that until we can get a copy of it, because in all of these hundreds upon hundreds of paperwork, the one thing that we asked for, somehow miraculously, it wasn't included. And I find that very disingenuous, that all of a sudden this audit that we need to potentially get to do what we have to do on behalf of the people somehow has gone Casper and gone ghost. So if somebody can figure out where, or even yourself could provide it, because apparently you have it, I would appreciate it. Thank you. I have a couple of questions for Mr. Anthony. Mr. Anthony, are you there?
I am, Senator.
How are you?
I am well.
Good, good. What I want to ask you quickly, when it came to the situation with potentially removing Mr. Reimer and defunding his position, you were one of two individuals that voted not to have him removed. May I ask why?
That information is not to be divulged in the public. It was an executive session discussion, and it was again leaked. So I can't speak. I voted no, yes, but I can't speak to the particular.
Oh, as to why? Okay. Well, then the part that was divulged about stripping Mr. Anthony and defunding his position, can you explain why that part, Mr. Reimer, I'm sorry, Mr. Anthony, could you share with me why that part was done? Because something had to trigger it.
Again, the information that was leaked was not correct. I believe I asked the consortium to withdraw what he placed out there, because again, the information that was discussed in the executive committee was leaked, and it wasn't correct.
Okay, outside of what was leaked, I'm going to ask a question. What value did Mr. Reimer bring to the institution that, based on information, he potentially might have needed to be retained even after his position allegedly was defunded?
Well, I believe that the interim CEO could help with that question, but as it relates to the information that has been shared, he has been a long tenured employee. He has institutional knowledge that has been used, and that would be the value of him based on the authority, operational needs by the executive management team. I think Mr. Interim CEO, Mr. Noel Hodge, might be able to add to that.
I have a question. Can you provide to us, this institution, his resume? Because you telling me how valuable he is, I would also like to see what his capabilities are as well. I want to ask another question, and this is just me being frank, because I'm hearing everybody seize up all of a sudden and get lawyered up. Has anyone been pressured to stop discussing this situation? Because I am feeling very concerned, because all of a sudden these information is out there. Audits were readily provided at one point, now they're disappearing. Is anyone feel like they're being pressured not to provide the necessary information to this institution, and or do they feel like they were pressured to be lawyered up at this point?
If I may, Senator, I believe that the law prohibits us from revealing any information that was not fully investigated. That's as much as I could say. I am not pressured by anyone.
Anyone else, or just you?
No, Madam Senator. It was a personal decision for me to have a lawyer with me, so I was not pressured in any way.
Okay. Well, how much minutes do I have left? Because I want to make sure I don't go over. How much? 2? Oh my. Well, let me say something quickly. You know, as I listened to what the chairman had to say earlier about doing what is necessary to protect the investors, I am very concerned that a lot more is not being done to protect the very people of these Virgin Islands. We live in a territory where I could pick up the phone at any given day and call to any state, and the average amount of money you pay for a kilowatt hour is 4.5 cents. But some here in these Virgin Islands, we're at 30-something cents, 40-something cents, and depending on if you're a high-rate commercial individual, you could pay up to $1 per kilowatt hour. And I don't understand, outside of all the issues that have happened with this institution, I'm trying to understand how we went into a propane deal with a company named Vitol, and I am still trying to recognize the potential savings that the people of this territory is not realizing. I am trying to understand that a company where executives got arrested for bribery, and somehow miraculously they came to the Virgin Islands and not a single soul got bribed. I am trying to understand how people's lights are being turned off, but yet you have an executive team as well as a chairman telling me they're concerned about the investors. When are you going to be concerned about me and the people of this territory? That is what I care about. And until we start recognizing that the people that are in management, that are on these boards, they have to care about the residents.
30 seconds.
Until this happens, we're going to be continuously in these meetings. And I'm going to speak to my colleagues, whether you're home with COVID and watching, whether you're sitting in these chambers, and unfortunately for those who have to deal with the loss of their family members. Understand me. I got elected to the 34th legislature. I can't account for anything that happened before the 34th legislature. But we have to make sure that we do whatever it takes in this term to fix this issue with WAPA. And if it means clearing house, shutting down everything, and utilizing every effort we have when it comes to law and the power vested in us by the people,
Time.
I will be utilizing it. Thank you very much, colleagues. I appreciate the time. Through the chair, I would like to ask, was there analysis done as to the cost of these items that were sold to the British Virgin Islands? Because I noticed that they were invoiced after the fact. So I'm trying to make sure if what was invoiced was the actual cost of the value of these items. Because having a individual having the right to sell our assets and no contract and us not knowing the value of these items but being paid thus far some $89,000, I need to know what the true value of these items were. Thank you.
Madam President, may I respond?
Yeah, respond to the senator.
Okay, thank you. Accompanying the invoices are invoices from the suppliers, American Wire Group, Electrical Supply Inc., PowerMat Ltd., etc. So this supports the cost of what was invoiced to the BVI.
Thank you. I believe I have another point of inquiry. Senator Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your point of inquiry.
Afternoon. I just want to ask a quick question through the chair to Mr. Anthony. In regards to the discussions I'm hearing here, just for clarification or understanding, I noted that the water company, the water aspect of WAPA is being run by 7Seas, a private entity. The bulk of what I'm seeing has to do with our leasing of generators as well as VTOL controlling another aspect, and all of these are private entities. Based on what I'm seeing here, would you consider that we've already sold out WAPA and it's privatized? Because at the end of the day, if the water company shuts down and decides they're not going to provide us service, what does that mean? Or if there's an issue with VTOL, us not paying them, explain that to me. So I'm trying to find out, is WAPA considered privatized already?
No, Senator. WAPA is a public entity, a semi-autonomous instrument of the government as designed and promulgated by the legislature of the Virgin Islands.
Senators, I thank you, Senator Francis. Senator Heyliger, Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your point of inquiry.
Through the chair, I would like to ask the question. I understand that the matter for the audit went to the AG's office, whether it was unfinished or not. But what I want to know as a business, what was done internally? Were there any disciplinary actions done to this individual? Because transferring something for criminal activity is one thing, but as a business, if you are aware that certain things are happening, what was done to this individual as a business?
Mr. Bourget?
Oh, I apologize. I didn't hear a direct question to me.
Really?
Actually, this was this particular issue happened in 2014. If that's what you're talking about, I am not sure what was done to any of the individuals. Since I've been here, nothing was done to the individual. And again, I started in April of 2019.
Okay, as board members, anyone there that could respond to me to know if, because of this internal investigation that you as a business did, was any disciplinary action done in regards to what you were able to find?
Senator, this is Elizabeth Armstrong. No, I don't believe that there was any disciplinary action done at the time. Attorney Groner had sent the document to the AG's office so that there would, I believe his hope was that there wouldn't be any thought of any cover-up. It was, I believe, an attempt at that time at transparency.
I'm going to give up my time, but I'm very much concerned that even if you send something off to the AG's office for potential criminal activity, that you were fully aware of incidents happening within your own business and nothing was done in regards to protecting the institution. I'm concerned about that. Thank you.
Francis. Senator Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Good afternoon. The question I would like to ask has to do in regards to something that the Senate President touched on in the separation of deposits for individuals that I think it was Senator Francis brought it up. With the separation of deposits, one of the things that in another committee we had discussed, we talked about people stating that deposits were being returned but they never materialized. Like WAPA is saying that they're returning the funds to the public, but we keep finding people over and over saying they never got this money. And to hear that it's now part of the whole pool, do you think that is part of the problem? Because I could even utilize myself as an example that closed out one of my accounts with WAPA. I was told that a check was sent to me for over $600 to include $126 in interest for the $500 I had originally deposited. But to this day, I have yet to lay eyes on this $600 and something, going on a year now. So I could only use myself as an example. What is the problem with that, where you have so many people that WAPA is claiming that they have returned these funds but have never laid eyes on them? Anyone?
Madam President, this is Michael Dow. May I take this one?
You're responding on the Senator's time. Proceed.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Senator, this is Michael Dow, Director of Treasury. No, the answer is that it's nothing to do at all with the deposit escrow fund that Senator Francis referred to. It's simply a matter of logistics and getting things done. We've been inundated for the last couple of years with numerous problems that have caused a tremendous backup for the
pause my time
Customer
quickly.
Accounts Department.
Okay, sir, thank you. Let me ask a question.
Very good.
We spoke about an escrow account that I was told earlier doesn't exist because all the monies is pooled in one location. So based on what you're saying the monies are separated. Then on top of that, you're giving me a story that because of your problems in WAPA, you're sending out fraudulent information to the public that you have returned their monies, but it just didn't happen. So I'm trying to figure out, how do we fix these problems so you are not considered a fraud? Because that is what you're telling me, basically. Explain to me, if you know this has been going on for years, how is this resolved other than you telling me in 2021 you've been having problems for years? And also explain to me about this escrow account that you just said earlier didn't exist.
Ma'am, I said that the answer has nothing to do with that account at all.
Mr. Dow, you need to turn on your camera. Turn on your camera. Hold the senator's time. Hold the senator's time. Mr. Dow, you need to turn your camera on so the listening and viewing audience
Madam
can see you.
I'm sorry, Madam President. Yes, Senator Francis. We have been trying desperately to process all the terminated accounts over the last couple of years and to get it through the entire system. It is rather difficult to get it all through the accounting system because there's such a large number of them.
Okay, I have a question. Hold on, sir. Somehow you managed to shut down the account. You managed to type up a whole letter and send it to me. You managed to send me information that I got interest on this account. You managed to send me a form so I could file taxes on the interest in this account. But somehow your accounting issues has caused you not to actually send me the money. What is wrong with this story you're telling me? Listen.
That is certainly true in the majority of cases. We have been trying over the last several weeks to be paying out those amounts in batches, as we have to do based on how they were processed. And that is a full-scale effort going on right now to do that. I believe what you're referring to is your final bill would have shown that information on it.
Yes, Mr. Dow, yes.
Obviously,
thank you for your responses. I actually had a note prior to the senator asking a question. If we have Senator Francis Heyliger, you're recognized for your point of inquiry.
Through the chair, I want to know, I need full clarity on this. We keep speaking about the AMI system, smart metering, and identifying the fact that there are some major issues with this system. If a customer, for example, historically has bills $100 a month, and all of a sudden their bill goes up to $1,000 a month, what is in place outside of you saying doing a payment plan? Once you have already recognized there's a problem with the system, what is in place to assist that customer so they could get back to paying a normal bill?
Hi, good afternoon. Deborah Gottlieb, Chief Financial Officer. If for some reason the bill jumps, and sometimes that happens if we've had a meter that was not functioning correctly or it was not communicating at all, when we install a new meter, the system recalibrates and it takes out a reading. It could have been a situation where the meter that was previously there was not functioning to capacity. The new meter that's put in is generally much more accurate. What happens when the bill comes out? The customer brings it to our attention, and when we realize that that is what happened, we make an adjustment. The customer does not have to enter into a payment plan to pay that. Basically, once the customer identifies and disputes an amount, and we do an investigation and determine that there was an adjustment, and because we cannot go back and back bill for more than 35 days, even if that bill is correct, we will adjust it off. They don't enter into a payment plan about it, and they do not pay any amounts that they have notified us that's in dispute until we resolve them. Just ask them to continue to pay what the normal bill was.
Okay, I know that sounds politically correct, but okay, could I just wrap up? I know it sounds politically correct to say that, but I have went to WAPA with individuals and their bills, and the only stance WAPA has given us is pay your bill, and that's it. We checked, and that is what the reading is, even though they have showed a history that something is clearly wrong. So something is not right here as to how these customers are being dealt with. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator. And the authority did acknowledge today that they have issues and they continue to bill the customers without a conscience. Senator's mic, Senator Francis Heyliger's mic.
This point of information is just for public education as well as for us here. Bloomberg.com today reported a headline about 3.5 hours ago, and it says, world's top oil trader Vital smashed profit records in 2020. And that's a net of 3 billion, okay? Net. So I don't know what percentage of that came from in here, this Virgin Islands, but be mindful of what is happening with this company so we could keep track of it and what we're dealing with. According to the article, some of it came from them hoarding oil during the pandemic when the cost was ridiculously low, and they made a profit thereafter. But they're in the business of making money. I am not here to say businesses should not make money, but I am here to protect this territory to make sure we're not taken advantage of just so they can meet their profit margin. Thank you.